You're listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast, where you'll learn about every Jewish topic imaginable in about 10 minutes. Before we dive in, a quick apology. My Hebrew pronunciation is not always the most, how should I put it, heavenly. Since I'm not even using real vocal cords, just lines of code pretending to be a voice, sometimes my Hebrew comes out sounding less like a rabbi and more like Google Maps recalculating directions. So if you hear me say something that sounds like I'm sneezing instead of speaking Hebrew, just know it's not disrespect. It's AI. All right, with that cleared up, today's topic is Niddah. Yeah, we're going there. Don't panic. It might sound heavy, but we're going to walk through it with humor, honesty, and maybe even a little Netflix-style relatability. Niddah is an ancient Jewish practice dealing with family purity laws, and while it can sound very formal, it's also one of those things that connects history, ritual, relationships, and everyday life in fascinating ways. So, what is Niddah exactly? At its core, it's the set of Jewish laws and customs around menstruation and sexual intimacy. The word Niddah literally means separation. Traditionally, when a woman has her period, she enters the state of Niddah, which involves refraining from physical intimacy with her partner until after a specific ritual purification in a mikveh, which is a special ritual bath. You could think of it as hitting the pause button on intimacy for a certain stretch of time. Imagine your relationship as a TV series. Sometimes you're binging episodes back to back. Sometimes Netflix asks, "Are you still watching?" And you take a break. Niddah is kind of like that, but with deep spiritual and ritual underpinnings. In Jewish tradition, this isn't just about physical separation. It's about building rhythms into a relationship. Times of closeness, times of pause, and times of renewal. It's a way of turning the natural cycle of the body into something with spiritual meaning. Now, this whole practice isn't just about hitting pause. It's about what happens after the pause. That's where the mikveh comes in. A mikveh is a ritual pool of water, often fed by natural sources, that is used for spiritual purification. After a woman's period ends and she counts several days without bleeding, she immerses in the mikveh, and the state of Niddah ends. Think of it like the ultimate reset button. In modern terms, it's almost like rebooting your Wi-Fi router after it's been glitchy. Suddenly, everything's fresh, renewed, and working again. In relationships, it can add a rhythm of anticipation and renewal. Ancient rabbis and later teachers saw this cycle as a way to keep intimacy from becoming stale. Instead of just a continuous Netflix autoplay with no commercial breaks, there's a season finale, a hiatus, and then an exciting new season premiere. Spiritually, it's meant to elevate something deeply physical and make it part of Jewish sacred living. Of course, we need to acknowledge the origins. Niddah is rooted in the Torah, specifically Leviticus, where ritual purity and impurity were major categories of religious life. Back in temple times, purity laws affected daily activities, like entering sacred spaces or eating certain offerings. Without the temple today, many of these laws aren't practical in the same way, but Niddah remained because it connected directly to family and marriage. Think of it like a really old app from the biblical App Store that most people deleted centuries ago, except this one kept updating through the rabbinic period, the medieval period, and right into modern times. Jewish communities around the world, Ashkenazi, Sephardi, Mizrahi, each added layers of customs. Some were stricter, some more lenient, but the core idea of separation and renewal through the mikveh remained central. It's a thread tying together thousands of years of Jewish practice. Now let's talk about real-world impact. For many couples who observe Niddah today, the cycle shapes the rhythm of their relationship. During the period of separation, couples may focus on non-physical aspects of connection, talking, cooking together, sharing hobbies, or maybe just binge-watching shows without, distraction. Then after the mikveh, there's this sense of reunion. Some describe it like date night meets anniversary night rolled into one, except it happens every month. Critics sometimes argue it's outdated or patriarchal, since the laws are tied to women's bodies. Supporters respond that it's a practice that adds intentionality to intimacy, keeping relationships fresh. Like any long-running TV show, some people feel the writing gets stale after season 6. Niddah, for many, is like the writers throwing in a new twist that reignites interest.
Ever notice how ads always pop up at the worst moments? When the killer's identity is about to be revealed. During that perfect meditation flow. On Amazon Music, we believe in keeping you in the moment. That's why we've got millions of ad-free podcast episodes, so you can stay completely immersed in every story, every reveal, every breath. Download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite podcasts ad-free, included with Prime.
Whether you agree with it or not, you can't deny it's shaped Jewish family life in profound ways. And yes, there's controversy. Some people find the whole concept troubling. They say it puts women's bodies in a negative light, framing menstruation as impure. That word, impure, triggers a lot of strong reactions. But here's the nuance. In Jewish tradition, impure doesn't mean dirty, sinful, or bad. It's a ritual category, not a moral judgment. Like, if your iPhone battery is low, it's not evil, it just needs recharging. Similarly, being in a state of ritual impurity is temporary, natural, and part of the cycle of life. Still, many modern Jews struggle with this language and the implications. Some reframe Niddah as a practice of mindfulness, a way of syncing relationships to natural rhythms. Others don't observe it at all. Judaism isn't one size fits all, and you'll find everything from ultra-strict observance to complete disregard. It's one of those topics that can spark heated debate at a Shabbat table, somewhere between politics and gefilte fish. Interestingly, mikveh itself has expanded beyond Niddah. In modern Jewish life, people use mikveh immersion for all sorts of spiritual milestones. Converts to Judaism immerse as part of their conversion. Brides immerse before their wedding. Some people go to the mikveh before holidays, or even after major life events like recovery from illness or divorce, as a symbol of renewal. It's like the Jewish version of hitting refresh on your browser. The idea of water as cleansing and transformative is universal. Think baptism in Christianity, or even just the feeling of taking a long shower after a stressful day. So even if someone doesn't follow the traditional Niddah cycle, they might still find mikveh meaningful. In fact, many liberal communities have reimagined mikveh as inclusive, open, and creative, far beyond its traditional role. So, the laws of Niddah gave us the framework, but mikveh itself has become a spiritual tool in many different Jewish settings. You might be wondering how people today actually handle all this. In traditional Orthodox communities, Niddah is still very much practiced, with couples keeping detailed calendars, counting days carefully, and women immersing in mikvahs monthly. In conservative Judaism, the practice has been reinterpreted, with some observing in modified ways. In Reform and Reconstructionist communities, Niddah often isn't practiced as law, but mikveh has been readopted for spiritual purposes. It's kind of like different streaming platforms. Some people subscribe to the full cable package with all the channels, some cherry-pick the shows they want on Hulu or Netflix, and some just catch highlights on YouTube. Same core content, different levels of subscription. No matter where Jews land, the topic raises questions about how ancient practices interact with modern values, gender roles, and personal spirituality. It's one of those areas where you can really see the diversity of Jewish life play out. Here's a thought. Whether someone follows Niddah strictly, loosely, or not at all, the idea of building rhythms into relationships is powerful. We live in a world of constant notifications, constant scrolling, constant everything. Imagine if, instead of doom scrolling Twitter at midnight, couples had built-in rituals of pause, reconnection, and renewal. That's one way to see Niddah as a spiritual reminder that relationships thrive on rhythm, not just constant autoplay. You don't need to be religious to get the wisdom there. Just like Shabbat can be appreciated even by people who don't keep it fully, the concept of pause and renewal in intimacy can resonate broadly. And let's be honest, sometimes taking a break from each other makes the reunion that much sweeter. It's kind of like when your favorite band goes on hiatus for a few years and then comes back with a reunion tour. Suddenly you're excited again. So that's Niddah, an ancient Jewish practice that weaves together body, spirit, intimacy, and rhythm. It's complicated, sometimes controversial, but also deeply meaningful to many. We've journeyed from Torah laws to mikveh pools, from critics to defenders, from ritual purity to modern spirituality. Along the way, we saw how a practice thousands of years old still sparks debates and new interpretations today. Whether you think of it as a religious obligation, a spiritual mindfulness tool, or simply a historical curiosity, it's part of the tapestry of Jewish life. And like so many Jewish traditions, it's layered, debated, and endlessly fascinating. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Everything Jewish, 10 minutes at a time. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor, share it with a friend who might like it, or leave a positive review so more people can discover the podcast. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and remember, even ancient practices can feel surprisingly modern when you dive in.